Today I'm giving you an update about how my digestive health is going. And if you've been following my journey, you'll know that I just went through a bunch of different tests and am now basically figuring out what the next steps are for healing my digestion. I want to start off by saying that I am making these videos, which is a really vulnerable thing to do. It's vulnerable to share with a bunch of strangers. Like, there is something going on with my health and I don't know what it is and I'm trying to figure it out, and I've been trying to figure it out for almost 10 years. It's really vulnerable to be in that place, right? Ultimately, the reason why I'm making these videos and sharing them with you is because what's going on with me, chronic digestive issues that are mysteriously happening for whatever reason, is happening to so many people. So many people. I want you to know that, one, you're not alone. Two, this is a long haul journey. And three, don't give up. We can figure it out. We can absolutely figure it out. There are success stories, and it takes dedication, and it takes motivation, and it takes persistence, and it's gonna be fucking hard, but it can be done. Healing is possible. So that's my little pep talk for today. Okay, now we're into what's been going on for me within the past year. So I've been doing deep investigation work with a naturopath and my GI doctor. I've just been we are going to figure this out, and I am going to cough up the cash to try and figure this out. What it looks like is I took a SIBO test. I came back positive. I did 2 rounds of rifaximin, 550 milligrams, 3 times a day for 2 weeks. And I did that one treatment, then I waited about 2 months. I did a second treatment. And after that second treatment, I also did 2 weeks of extreme, 98% low FODMAP. I even got rid of coffee, okay? I was really serious. At the end of the 2 treatments plus the low FODMAP diet, my symptoms were still there. It didn't help, really. So after that, it was okay, we need to do a bunch of tests. So I just was okay, let's do it. I did over 20 tests. I talk about all those tests in the last video that I make. So what were the results of those tests? Well, let me tell you. So let's go over the ones that I took with my GI doctor. My GI doctor prescribed me maybe 15 different tests that were different markers for how's my liver doing? Do I have any autoimmune conditions? Is this the basic stuff, gonorrhea, Crohn's disease, celiac disease. Now, I've already been tested for those things, but it's been 3 or 4 years. So they tested me again, and then complete metabolic set and others. So the general consensus for all of those tests within my GI doctor was that everything's going great. I don't have any indicators that I have an autoimmune condition causing my digestive health, which is great because I was really worried that it was an autoimmune condition. My liver is functioning amazing. There's no indicators that there's any inflammatory issues happening with my liver, which is great because I also was afraid that something may be going on with my liver. But no, everything's fine. Basically, all of the test results came back within normal ranges. So my doctor was yeah, everything's good on that front. Okay, I also took another SIBO test. I got the SIBO results back, and I still have SIBO. Interestingly, I actually have higher amounts of methane SIBO, which is weird because that tends to be associated to constipation, and I don't have that at all. So something happened within the first 2 rifaximin treatments. But yeah, I still have SIBO. Then I also took mold and metal. Now, I took metal toxicity tests because I have a tooth implant, and I thought, I really was oh my God, maybe it was the tooth implant that's been causing this. Maybe the metal's leaching into my body and I need to get it removed, and oh my God, that would be horrible. But I got the results back, and I do not have metal toxicity. all of the ranges were way below any sort of level that would indicate toxicity. They were like completely normal, they were not an issue. So I do not have metal toxicity, which is a huge relief. So that's not an issue, but I did get one piece of information that was helpful. So because it's really annoying that like all these test results come back and they're just like, oh, you're totally fine, everything's normal. And I'm like, no, everything's not normal. So why aren't the test results indicating something? But luckily, the mold results came back, and I do have high amounts of this specific type of mycotoxin from this specific type of mold. And a mycotoxin is basically like, I was a little skeptical of all of this, but I think it makes sense. Basically, mycotoxins develop in your body when you're exposed to mold, which we're all exposed to mold all the time. It's in our food, it's everywhere. And normally the body will get rid of the toxins or get rid of like the mold through what's called, what is it called? These pathways that get rid of things. It'll come to me. Anyways, so I have a high amount of a mycotoxin. When mold builds up in the body, it can create mycotoxins. So that came back. So basically, out of all of the test results that I took, what came back is that I still have SIBO and I have mycotoxin in my body. I don't have metal, and I don't have an autoimmune condition, and my liver is doing great, and all the other things they tested for are doing great. So that's what the test results showed. So now let's go into what are the next steps. Actually, before we go into the next steps, I'm going to talk about what the current theory is about what's going on with my body. And I did remember what it was called. It's called detox pathways. And this is important because it relates to what's going on potentially with my body. So the current theory is that when I was 18, 19, and because of a combination of compounding factors, plus having that oral surgery with my tooth implant and going through multiple rounds of antibiotics, what could happen is that I may have developed SIBO, and then the SIBO may have created, slowly as I got older and it got worse, may have created an environment where my detox pathways were impaired. They weren't functioning correctly. So then, because the particular mycotoxin that I have is from mold I think it's called pectin, the pectin mold, which is everywhere. It's like in apples, it's in a lot of like fermented foods, it's in a lot of foods. And like normal people eat all these foods, and your detox pathways just like get rid of any of the mold that may be on it that may affect your body. But maybe because I have developed SIBO, because of the antibiotics that I took, it was impairing the detox pathways, which led to this buildup of this mycotoxin. And then the mycotoxin may be affecting like my skin, and then the SIBO is affecting my skin, and which is affecting the diarrhea, and like there's like this feedback loop going on. So that's kind of the current theory, and we don't know if it's like, did the SIBO develop first, or was I exposed to like high amounts of mold and that created something with the detox pathways, and was it the antibiotics? Like, it's all so confusing, but that's the current theory. So what we're going to do for my treatment is, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's a little nerve-wracking. It was already like hard enough deciding to do rifaximin, because rifaximin, I'm pretty like skeptical of pharmaceuticals. I'm very cautious with doing pharmaceuticals, and I'm very cautious with doing herbal treatments as well. Like, I have had bad experiences with taking a bunch of supplements. I am someone who's like, I'll do things after I do a lot of research. Ultimately, I felt comfortable with doing the rifaximin because it just felt like it was a localized microbiome modulator. My naturopath felt really comfortable with it and had seen really great results. So I was down to do it once, and then I was down to do it twice because I'm someone who's like, I really want to know if something's not working. So I did it twice, didn't help, not going to do it again. So what I am going to do is now kind of like the Herbal protocol for rifaximin, in addition to binders, which will help get the mycotoxins out of my body, in addition to a few other things. So I'm going to walk you through what the treatment's going to look like. But yeah, I just wanted to say beforehand, like, this is nerve-wracking for me. I feel nervous. I feel scared about it. It's like a lot of supplements. It's a lot. And, you know, this kind of loops back to what I was saying in the beginning. Like, I'm here to figure this out. And that means being persistent. It means being motivated. It means, like, I will make sure no stone is unturned, because that's what I've had to do, like, to figure out what's going on with my body. And throughout each test, each treatment that I do, I have more clarity around what's going on. So we'll see how this treatment works. Regardless, I know that I'll have more clarity around what's happening. So the way that the treatment's going to work is I'm going to start off by doing a month of binders. So the binders I'm going to be taking include activated charcoal and include bentonite clay, and one other type of binder, which is kind of like a fiber that's specifically designed for people who have SIBO and the stuff that I have. So I'm doing a month of binders to start off with, and I'm actually going to be taking the binders for 3 to 4 months. It's actually 4 months, but I'm tapering down towards the end. This is going to get complicated. So I'm taking the first month is of binders. Now, the next 2 weeks, I'll still be on the binders, but I'll be introducing this thing called a biofilm disruptor. And biofilm disruptors, I've taken it before. What it does is, when you have SIBO in the small intestine, the bacteria produce kind of like a mucousy membrane around themselves to protect themselves. So the biofilm disruptor, right, disrupts that film around the bacteria. So that gets it ready for the next phase of the treatment. So I take the biofilm disruptor on and off for 2 weeks. Then for 1 month, I do a really intense herbal protocol. And the herbal protocol includes 3 different supplements. It includes Neem Plus, and Neem Plus is really good for chronic acne. Hello. And then there's this ADP. ADP is like a really concentrated form of oregano oil, oregano something. And the oregano is supposed to be antimicrobial, antifungal, anti-parasitic. It basically goes in and is the herbal protocol for rifaximin. It's like similar to rifaximin. So it's really there to like get rid of the SIBO. And in addition, there's a potential that I may have a parasite thing going on, because one of the symptoms that I have is mucus in my diarrhea, not all the time, but some of the time. Now, I've done parasite tests before and nothing's come back positive, but there's a lot of different parasites, and like the 2 parasite tests that I took were for the most common ones, but there's other ones as well. So it kind of works out because the oregano concentrate supplement is anti-parasitic anyways. So I'm taking the Neem Plus, the ADP, and this other supplement that I'm not remembering right now. Goodness, it'll come to me. So I'm taking those, and it on top of the binders. And it's a lot. Like, on some days, I'm going to be taking close to like 20 to 30 supplements. So it's going to be a lot, and my naturopath has assured me that I should just be feeling better. I should feel better and better throughout the protocol. And if I start to feel anything that's indicating that that's bad, like nausea, or if I get like a rash, like, or if I get wheezy, or if I get like lethargic, she says to stop the protocol. So it's really just me having to like really focus on how my body's doing, and as I take the supplements, like really track everything. So I do that herbal protocol for 1 month, then I stop the herbal protocol, and then for the following 3 to 4 months I take a prokinetic, which a prokinetic supports the body with the anatomical functioning of the digestive system. And I'll link all this stuff below, but really do not do this on your own. Trust me, I would have done it on my own. I'm someone who's fiercely like independent. I can figure this out. I tried for a long time to figure it out on my own. The protocol that I'm going through is extremely complex, and like I'm not even going to tell you the amounts that I'm supposed to be taking of things, because you should not be doing this on your own. But I will share with you the supplements that I will be taking. So then I do the prokinetic, and then I slowly taper off the binders. So that's what the protocol looks like. It's going to be, about 2.5 months of really extreme, increasing intensity. Then the following 2 to 3 months, just going to be kind of management. And so that's what it looks like. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm really hopeful that I'll feel better, that this will like really help my body reset, and then as I go into the end, I'll be able to start, really like slowly reintroducing probiotics, and like eating a lot of fermented food, and like increasing the healthy bacteria in my biome. So I think for next steps with these videos, I'll probably do one like mid-treatment, so you get a sense of how things have been feeling. I'll tell you how the supplements are making me feel, and then obviously I'll definitely do a follow-up video about how the treatment went and how my symptoms went. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you have any suggestions, ideas, like I'm super open, and I usually respond to all of them unless they're kind of like giving me really unsolicited advice in an area that I've already talked about. Like if you're like, have you tried probiotics? Like I'm probably not going to respond because I like already talked about it. But yeah, please like tell me how you're doing. What are you like dealing with? This is really, I'm here to just share, to be real, and to let you know you're not alone. And okay, I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time.